Welcome back to Queen's Court Gossip, your one-stop medieval scandal shop, where every noble has a secret, every mistress has a motive, and if a baron says he's loyal, he's probably planning a coup by dinner. I'm your scandal-sniffing soothsayer, and today we're cracking open the case of Roger Mortimer, the man who went from Tower prisoner to the Shadow King of England and paid for it in blood. Strap into your saddles and hide your monarchs, because this is the hot and heavy saga of rebellion, romance, and one incredibly ill-advised power grab. Let's dive in. Born in 1287 into the powerful Mortimer family of the Welsh Marches, Roger Mortimer was basically medieval royalty adjacent. Think landed gentry meets feral warlord. The Mortimers had land, titles, and a long-standing habit of squabbling with the crown. Roger was handsome, well-educated, and married by the tender age of 14 to Joan de Grenville, an heiress with lands stretching from Wales to Ireland. He wasn't just playing the lord, he was good at it. Roger quickly became one of Edward II's top commanders in the endless wars with Scotland and Ireland. But then, Edward started doing something annoying, namely, favoring other men. We're talking about Piers Gaveston, and later the Despensers. The Despensers, especially Hugh the Younger, clawed their way into power like social climbing spiders. Mortimer? Marginalized, disrespected, and eventually imprisoned. In 1322, after leading a rebellion against Edward and his darling Despensers, Mortimer was captured and tossed in the Tower of London like yesterday's gossip scroll. But our boy wasn't done yet, because in 1323 he did something that no one else had done in over a century. He escaped the Tower of London. How? Bribed guards, drugged drinks, secret messages written in code. The escape was so daring, it made Robin Hood look like a squire with stage fright. Mortimer fled to France, where he entered a very interesting chapter in his life, because in Paris he met Isabella of France, Queen of England, wife of Edward II, and more importantly, a woman with a bone to pick. Isabella had been humiliated, sidelined, and financially strangled by the Despensers. She was done playing the loyal wife. What she needed was a co-conspirator, a partner in crime, a man with fire in his belly and revenge in his soul. Enter Roger Mortimer. Now, did they immediately fall into bed? Probably not. Did they start plotting to overthrow Edward II together? Absolutely. And pretty soon, they were doing both. Chroniclers whisper that Isabella and Mortimer began a scandalous affair, one that shocked Christendom. She was a queen, he was an outlaw, but together, they were a political power couple that made Macbeth and Lady M look like amateurs. In 1326, Isabella and Mortimer landed in England with a tiny army, but a massive grudge. The Despensers fell like dominoes. Hugh the Elder hanged, Hugh the Younger executed in a scene so grisly that it made butchers wince. Drawn, quartered, and allegedly castrated in front of cheering crowds. And Edward II? Captured, deposed, and locked in Berkeley Castle. England was theirs. But here's the catch. Mortimer didn't claim the throne. Instead, he and Isabella ruled through the teenage Edward III, Isabella's son. Mortimer styled himself as Earl of March, but make no mistake, he was England's Shadow King. He held court, issued orders, rewarded allies, punished enemies, and yes, grew increasingly arrogant. At one point, he even refused to show the king documents, claiming Edward III was too young to understand them. Now let's talk about the scandal that never dies, Edward II's death. Obviously, he died in 1327 of natural causes, but almost immediately, rumors began swirling that Mortimer and Isabella ordered his murder. And the method? Oh, that one's infamous. The story claims Edward was killed by having a red-hot poker shoved up his royal exhaust port. It supposedly left no visible marks. Very tidy, very cruel, very Mortimer. Now, was this true? Probably not. Most historians agree it's gossip wrapped in propaganda sprinkled with spicy revenge. But the fact that people believed it, that's the legacy that Mortimer left behind. He became a figure of fear, a whisper in the corridors, a man who killed a king, ruled in his place, and was now growing dangerously used to the power. By 1330, young Edward III was 17, and he'd had enough. One night in Nottingham Castle, Edward staged a secret coup with a handful of loyal knights. They climbed through a secret passage, burst into Mortimer's chambers, and arrested him in his nightshirt, literally dragged from Isabella's bed. The charges? Treason, tyranny, theft. Oh, and the murdering of the king, just in case anyone had forgotten. Mortimer didn't even get a trial. He was hanged at Tyburn like a common criminal, stripped of a title, honor, and legacy in one brutal morning. Isabella begged for his life. Failed. She was spared execution, but banished to Castle Rising, a quiet, dignified exile with plenty of embroidery and regrets. So what do we make of Roger Mortimer? Was he a bold reformer who toppled a corrupt regime? A dangerous seducer who manipulated a grieving queen? A patriot? A power-hungry tyrant? He was all of it, and more. Roger Mortimer was a man who saw a crumbling kingdom and seized the moment. He broke out of the tower, seduced a queen, deposed a king, and ruled a country before being betrayed by the very boy he'd helped crown. He didn't wear a crown, but for 4 years he ran England. And in medieval politics, that's more dangerous than any throne. Was Roger Mortimer the love of Isabella's life, or just a convenient sword in her arsenal? Did he really kill Edward II? Or did he just get blamed by a court hungry for scapegoats? You can share your juiciest royal gossip with me at longlivethequeenpodcast@gmail.com. Slide into my DMs on Facebook or Instagram at longlivethequeenpodcast, or join the royal court on Patreon for extended episodes and bonus content. The link is in the show description. Until next time, stay sharp, stay scandalous, and stay crowned.